Hey, what's going on, guys? What's happening, YouTube? Good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning into Rules for Rebels. In today's video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about product sourcing, importing, specifically kind of from Alibaba, and dealing with high MOQs, or high minimum order quantities. So from time to time, I'll see an interesting product, and I'll start talking with Alibaba suppliers. And it's incredibly frustrating, right? I know a lot of you guys feel this. A lot of you guys feel like the whole process is overwhelming. It's really confusing. A lot of times these manufacturers aren't that great at communicating with you. Sometimes their MOQs are just insane, like the amount of stuff that they want you to order. And it can be challenging. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. Right now, I'm actually in talks with a supplier, contemplating maybe doing a new product. And it's been frustrating. So let's talk a little bit about MOQs first. So what is an MOQ? An MOQ is the minimum order quantity. Now, every supplier is going to have a different MOQ. If you're looking to order 1 unit, 5 units, 10 units, you're probably going to be better off going over to a site like AliExpress or DHgate. Well, there are some smaller MOQ suppliers on Alibaba. Really, Alibaba is for like bulk orders. So if you're wanting to order smaller quantities of stuff, you're going to want to go over to DHgate or AliExpress. Now, typically over there, you're not going to be able to customize products. A, because your order quantities are so low, and B, because a lot of the guys on AliExpress, they're resellers, not the actual manufacturer. But if you want to, if you're on Alibaba shopping, at the very top of the listing, right by the price, you're typically going to see two numbers. You're going to see the minimum order quantity, which is the smallest amount that they'll let you order, and then you're also going to see like their maximum output or their maximum supply. So they'll say, okay, if you want to order these beach tents from us, you have to order at least 50 of them, and then we can handle up to 50,000 per month. So those numbers are going to be right at the top by the price. Most suppliers will list them. Some of them won't. You'll actually have to reach out to them, but most suppliers will list that minimum order quantity. Now, typically that minimum order quantity is going to be for generic products. It's not going to be for custom branded products. So if I see something like a minimum order quantity of 50, if I just want to order 50 beach tents right off the shelf from them, I can order 50. However, if I want to put Rules for Rebels across the beach tent and on the poles, well, then there's normally going to be a higher minimum order quantity, right? Because they can't just pump these things out. They can't just pump out, 1,000 of these and sell 50 to me and then sell the 50 to the rest of the guys. They're going to have to do a run specially for me, and they got to set up their presses and get my artwork and everything else. And that's only worth their time if they're going to make a decent amount of money off the orders. So that's where these higher minimum order quantities for custom branding or private labeling, or OEM as they call it, that's where these things are going to come in. So, just for example, on the 50 beach tents, maybe if you wanted to customize them, you have to order 300. The particular product that I'm looking at right now, the minimum order quantity for generic or unbranded is 10,000 units. Now, when I asked about, okay, well, what if I wanted my logo on here and I wanted my logo on the packaging, and then also they sell their product in bulk packaging, right? So they'll sell you 1,000 units at a time, and well, you can get it custom branded. I mean, most people aren't going to be buying 1,000 pieces at a time. So I would ideally like to break these into like 3 packs, 5 packs, 12 packs, maybe 32 packs. Now, granted, this is a cheaper product, but if I order 1,000 units from them, I would have to break it down into smaller packages and sell it in smaller packages. So, in talking with the supplier, again, if I want generic products, if I want it unbranded, if I just want to order in bulk packaging, 10,000 pieces. If I actually want a private label, it's going to be 120,000 pieces. And I forget what it was. I think that was coming out to either $4,000 or $8,000. I've been talking with so many suppliers, it's been kind of slipping my mind. But the minimum order quantity is more than I'm comfortable ordering. This is a new product category, a new product area, a new niche that I'd be venturing into. And I'd want to start smaller, see if these things actually sold, see if there's any problems, see if the quality is good before I go placing a huge order. So, like, how can we go about that, right? So with most products, there are so many suppliers out there. Just reach out to supplier after supplier, and eventually somebody will be willing to do it for your lower minimum. With my particular product, there were only, I would say, maybe 4 to 7 suppliers of this product. There's a ton of listings, but if you look at the company behind all the listings, it's just a handful of companies, maybe 4 to 7 companies. So I've reached out to about 7 of these companies. I think 2 or 3 of them have gotten back to me. One can't make the product the way I need it. One of them isn't using the ideal material I like, but they can make it, so they're in contention. And then one supplier has exactly what I'm looking for, can do exactly what I want, but they're wanting this high MOQ or this high order minimum. So what do I do, right? So I got a couple options here. First, I could reach out to the guy and just say, hey, I'm not looking to start that big. Could we do 20,000 pieces? And he may say yes, he may say no. Another thing I could offer to do, and another thing that you guys can think about doing, is offering to pay more per unit. Look, I know this product is 25 cents per unit. I'm willing to pay you 35 cents if you'll do it at this lower MOQ. So they still get to make some more money, make it a little bit more worth their while. And while I'm paying a little bit more, at least I can get in without shelling out as much money. And then the last option I could do, I could reach out to this guy and say, look, if there's some kind of artwork set up, if there's some type of fee for setting up the presses or setting up the machines, I'd be happy to pay that fee out of my pocket on top of whatever the product's going to cost. So look, I know you want me to order 120,000 pieces. Let me do this order for 20,000 pieces. If it costs $300 or $500 to make a mold for me, or set up a die or something like that, like, I'm willing to pay that cost. And then moving forward, they already have my dies made, so even if I want to order in smaller quantities, I've paid for it out of my own pocket to have whatever custom needs to be made for my order, and they can continue using that on future orders. So those are a couple different options that you have. There's one other option that I thought of, and this is going to be a little bit labor intensive and a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I could potentially go order my own custom packaging, right? So I don't know if I would sell this product in little pillow boxes or like a little plastic box like that, but I could package these any number of ways. I could do like 3 packs, I could do 5 packs, I could do 10 packs, I could do 20 packs, I could do 32 packs. That's kind of the standard sizes that this product comes in. So what I could do is order unbranded of this product, right? So I would get 1,000 of them in a big tube. And then, so those show up at my house. I also reach out to another supplier. There are suppliers on Alibaba who do packaging. I may be able to get it done easier here in the States. But either way, I order my own custom packaging. I order this product in bulk from them. Granted, the individual products won't have my brand on them, but the overall packaging will. And I could order, 1,000, or I could order 10,000 units from them, which meets their MOQ. Again, these items would be not branded and they would be packaged in bulk. I could then order my packaging. Let's say I do, we'll say 10 packs just for easy numbers. So I think that would be, 100? 10 times 100, yeah. So that'd be 1,000. So I'd order 1,000 packs. I'd break this 10,000 pieces into 10 packs. And then I would literally have to fold all these boxes, put 10 pieces in, package them up, and then they'd be ready to sell. So a lot more work on my part, a lot more labor intensive, a little bit of a headache. But that's a way I could actually get my business started without meeting their high MOQ. Now, one last thing I just wanted to touch on a little bit is a lot of times, I should say not everything has to be imported, right? Not everything has to come from China, or I guess I should say not everything has to come from AliExpress, right? A lot of stuff comes from like India, China, Indonesia, and with the products that I'm looking for, that's where most of them are coming from. Now, not everything has to come from overseas. I'll give you guys an example. Back when I was doing hoverboards in, what was that, probably 2015, I could buy hoverboards out of China for like $70, but then I have to deal with the shipping. If I have damaged units or defective units show up, there's really no return process, so I'm eating those returns. The air shipping would have cost me a fortune. Sea shipping would have been really cheap, but again, it's kind of confusing navigating, like getting freight forwarders and custom stuff. Plus, with hoverboards, there were issues with stuff coming through customs. And so what I wound up opting to do was just buy from a wholesaler in the U.S. who had already bought these in bulk in China, so they were probably buying more than I could have bought and getting a lower price. And granted, they've paid to bring it over here to the States. They have to make money, so they're marking it up. So I think at the time I was paying, well, I could have got these hoverboards from China. I was paying anywhere from maybe $180 up to as much as $240. So quite a bit more money than I could have brought them over from China myself. But in the case of hoverboards, that was a product where, like, if you had it now, it was going to sell. And so time and urgency was more important than necessarily the best price. So I just bit the bullet. I bought from the U.S. supplier. Didn't have to deal with any of the importing, any of the customs, any of the freight forwarding fees. the few times that I had defective units, they took care of it for me. I remember there was one instance we ordered, I think it was 50 or 100 of those Lamborghini hoverboards, right? The triangle-shaped ones with the Bluetooth. And I think it was 50. So we ordered 50 pieces that came on a pallet. And when we started taking these out, it turned out, I think 28 of them were bad. No, 28 out of 50 of an expensive product like that. Like, that really sucks. And fortunately, I got on the horn with my supplier, and because they're a U.S. company, you get a little bit better customer service. They're going to resolve issues a little bit better. And they actually sent a truck out within the next couple days, picked up these boards, brought them back to the warehouse, gave me credit for that order, and I ordered a different type of hoverboard and didn't have those problems. Where if this came from China, they would have probably told me tough luck or tried to offer me 10% back on the order. But nonetheless, half my order of hoverboards, a very expensive product, was ruined. So I guess don't always look to China. Don't think everything has to come from China. There's a lot of U.S. manufacturers. Look locally in your city or state. I mean, if I was looking for headbands, headband manufacturer, Chicago, Illinois. Headband supplier, Chicago, Illinois. There's also another site called ThomasNet. I forget if it's thomasnet.com or thomasnet.net, but if you Google ThomasNet, it'll pop up. There's a bunch of suppliers. They're pretty much all domestic. It's not quite as easy to navigate as Alibaba, which isn't saying much because Alibaba isn't that friendly to navigate. Another kind of frustrating thing about Thomas.net is a lot of these companies are suppliers of raw materials, not of actual finished products. So, I mean, just for example, I think a while back I was looking into, I don't know if it was like camping sleeping mats or yoga mats or something like that, and I went on Thomas.net, and eventually I did find a supplier, but most of the suppliers that I were coming across were, they were selling, like, I don't even know what yoga mat material is, neoprene or something like that. Like, they were selling like 1,000-foot rolls of what yoga mats are made out of. So they're not selling a finished product. I would have to find somebody to actually take these 1,000-foot rolls and stamp them into yoga mats and print a logo on them. But that's one of the only hiccups about Thomas.net is a lot of times you're going to get raw material suppliers as opposed to somebody actually selling a finished product. But, look around. I think you'd be surprised how many manufacturers there are possibly right in your backyard in your city, if not, across the country in various places. And then you're also going to have, in addition to manufacturers, you're going to have other like importers and warehousers who, they're going to bring stuff over here from China or wherever else. They're going to store it in a warehouse and they're going to sell it wholesale to businesses and entrepreneurs like you. And well, granted, you are going to be paying more than you could get it out of China for. A lot of times it's worth it just to be able to communicate with an English speaker, to not have to deal with customs fees and freight forwarding and all that stuff. But be careful. Check the price on Alibaba. Check the price of like either U.S. suppliers or U.S. resellers, and make sure the price is in line. So, I mean, just for example, there was another product recently I was looking at. It was 6 cents per unit. Now, I found a company in the USA who it was basically. I say company, really it was some kid who put together some hustle, but I got to give him props for it. But basically this product that was 6 cents, he made it much more user-friendly to order. So he had a relationship with the supplier. I actually found his exact supplier on Alibaba, but the actual price was 6 cents per unit. He was trying to charge me 55 cents per unit, and it really wasn't a good deal. But basically what I would be paying for is I'm paying this upcharge to deal with a kid from the USA who speaks English, who's going to help me out with my artwork for the packaging and handle that for me, and basically just kind of dumb down the process of importing this product for me. And if he were at 18 cents, it may have been worthwhile, right? Just to avoid those hassles and avoid the cost of importing and everything else, because his price did include shipping. However, being at 55 cents, like that's a pretty big markup above 6 cents. So I was like, it's just that's just too big of a spread. In the case of hoverboards, $70 to, on the low end, $180, on the high end, $240. That's a pretty big spread, but because of the nature of that product, because of some of the complications with that product, and because it was like a get this product to market as quickly as possible product, it wound up being worthwhile to do. So that's just kind of my little ramble about importing, dealing with high MOQs, etc. I'd love to hear some of your guys' experiences. What hiccups have you run into trying to import stuff from Alibaba? Do you find the order minimums to be restrictive or to kind of price you out of starting certain businesses. Just overall, what's your experience with importing, as well as any tips or advice that you have to share with other YouTubers, other Amazon sellers, other Shopify sellers, etc. So would love to hear from you guys. Drop a comment in the comment section below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button below. We're really grinding, trying to hit 100,000 subscribers here. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.